Welcome back to Maths 101. In this video, we're going to look at solving non-monic quadratic equations. So if you didn't see my first video, I went over how to solve monic quadratic equations. And if you don't know how to do that, I highly recommend you watch that video and you learn how to do that first before you come over to non-monic, because non-monic quadratic equations have one extra step and are a little bit trickier. So the way we actually identify that these questions are non-monic is this number here, which is the coefficient of the x squared. Now, if it's not 1, it's non-monic. So in my monic video, the coefficient was 1, and so I just wrote it as x squared. It was x squared in the question. But here, there's a 2 in front of it, so that means it's non-monic. So this is the way we would do it if it was monic. If that 2 wasn't there, we would do this. So we would need to find two numbers that add to give this number here, the coefficient of the x, and that multiply to give this number here. So in this case, it'd be two numbers that add to give 5 and multiply to give 3, and we'd do it from there. But with this question, the only extra step we do, so the number that we add to give is still exactly the same. It's still 5, but instead of adding to 3, the number that we need to multiply by, so the number that we need to find two numbers which multiply to give a number, is actually the product of the coefficient of the x squared and the constant itself, which is 6. So therefore we need two numbers that add to give 5 and that multiply to give 6. And if you think about it, the monic quadratic equation we had in my first video was actually the same concept. It was this one here. So we had to find two numbers that add to give 5 and that multiplied to give 6. The reason why, because the coefficient of the x is 5, and here we really did the same thing, because that is actually an invisible 1 there, and we did the same thing. 1 multiplied by 6 is 6, so it's the same concept, but here we didn't have a 1, we had a 2. So to find the number that you need to add to give, it's just the coefficient of the x's, and the number that you need to multiply to give is the product of the coefficient of the x squared and the constant. Okay, so now let's find our two numbers. So I can see right off the bat that our two numbers are 2 and 3, because 2 plus 3 equals 5, and 2 multiplied by 3 equals 6. So then next step is to split the middle term. And if you don't know why, or you need to know more about that, go and check out my first video. So let's split it. So plus 2x and plus 3x. So I haven't actually changed the question, because you can see if I were to simplify that, I'll just add those together and I'll be right back to there. Okay, so I haven't actually changed it at all. So now what we do, now we factorize in pairs. So these two and these two. So from then on, it's pretty much the exact same as the monic example. The only difference is this first step here, where we have this first step here to find that number, the number that it multiplies to. So from here, very straightforward. Take out 2x as common factor. We're left with an x plus 1. And here we take out a 3 as a common factor, and we're left with an x plus 1 as well. And then here we take out our x plus 1 as it is common in both. And then we can rewrite it as x plus 1 outside of whatever is left over, which is a 2x and then a 3. So we can rewrite that in another bracket here. And then all we need to do is let each factor equal 0. So x plus 1 equals 0, or 2x plus 3 equals 0. So you still should be getting two solutions, unless it's a perfect square or something. So here, x equals -1, that's one solution. Or we've got 2x equals -3, and then x equals -3 on 2. So these are your two answers, -1.5 or -3 on 2, same thing, or -1. So that's how we do it. Exactly the same as the monic, except to find the numbers that you multiply to that also add to give this number. Oh, sorry. They need to multiply it to also give that number. It's just that multiplied by that, and that's this number here. That's all you need to know. That's the only difference between monic and non-monic. I hope this video has helped, and thanks for watching. See ya.